Trapped in a deadly situation where a single movement meant instant death, he was already waiting for the end. Then suddenly, a system appeared. In the next second, his fate was rewritten as he was forcefully transmigrated into another world. But the shock didn't stop there. When he opened his eyes, instead of safety or peace, he found himself in a completely unexpected and dangerous situation involving a mysterious girl. How did he end up here? What choice will decide his fate next? Watch till the end to find out. Now, let's start from the very beginning. At the start, we see our boy checks his shining gold watch, looking rich and confident, muttering that it's time. He steps out of his luxury car and scans the area as nearby girls whisper about his looks. Moments later, a green-haired guy storms over, yelling, while a girl clings to our boy like he's her boyfriend. The green-haired man shouts at her, accusing her of dumping him for this guy. Our boy smirks calmly, saying of course she would, he's rich, handsome, a top student, unlike a cheating ex. He adds coldly that rumors say the guy can't last long in bed and even has failing kidneys, so who'd stay with a loser like that? With no warning, our boy knocks him down with one punch, mocking his lack of stamina, skills, and money. After the ambulance takes the man away, our boy admits he only pretended to be her boyfriend to stop the harassment. As he turns to leave, she grabs his hand, asking him to be real this time, but he refuses, saying he's not into dating right now. Night slowly falls. Our boy smiles, happy he earned good money helping a girl in trouble. This is how he makes a living. But reality hits when all his cash disappears on car rent, the watch, and flashy clothes. He breaks down, realizing he's broke again, with nothing left to pay his rent. Depressed, he drags himself toward home. Suddenly, a bright white flash blinds him. When his vision clears, he freezes in shock. The green-haired man returns in a wheelchair with his gang, ready for revenge. Two men grab our boy from behind, catching him completely off guard. The green-haired man sneers, ordering his men to make him suffer, mocking his popularity with women. A heavy punch slams into our boy's stomach, forcing a scream from his mouth. He collapses, clutching his gut as they joke that he looks close to death already. The man smirks, saying he prepared a special gift and tells his men to bring it out. Four strangely beautiful but intimidating figures step forward, eyeing our boy like prey. The green-haired man asks if this is the surprise they prepared. Suddenly, he and his gang start vomiting, disturbed by their own imagination. Terrified, our boy panics, begging them to stop joking and promising to pay for everything. One man pulls out several pill bottles, while the boss grins darkly, saying they'll turn him into a wild beast. Another explains the pills will boost his strength beyond normal limits. They force every pill into his mouth, emptying all the bottles at once. The figures stare at him excitedly, clearly waiting for the effects to kick in. As he struggles, our boy feels his body losing control, blood trickling from his nose. A glowing screen suddenly appears, warning he has 10 seconds before his body explodes from overdose. As the countdown starts, another message pops up. It declares his fate is sealed and asks if he will accept the weapon system, yes or no. With no time left, our boy chooses yes. The screen responds, system activated, welcoming the host to a brand new world. In an instant, his soul is pulled away to another realm. By a quiet lake, two frogs are seen affectionately clinging together. Nearby, a woman gasps for air, sweat dripping from her trembling body. In front of her lies our boy, unconscious in the water, unaware of what's coming. Under dim forest light, the atmosphere turns heavy as she starts doing it. The woman begins cultivating using his body in a way viewers instantly understand. Hours later, our boy slowly opens his eyes. A stunning woman stands before him, shocked, saying she thought he was dead. His mind explodes in panic as he shouts, asking what a beauty like her did to his body. Looking around, he grows confused. Was this really another world, and who was she? Inside, he thanks the system, amazed that dual cultivation happened right after arriving. Blushing, he admits she's incredibly beautiful and wonders if she'd do it again if asked. With an awkward smile, he lies about losing his memory and asks if she can repeat what she did. She cuts him off, telling him to stay quiet. Grinning, our boy teases, asking if she's trying to push him down, calling her a naughty girl. He leans closer and jokes softly, asking her to give him something sweet. Without warning, she throws a heavy punch, and he blurts that this wasn't the kind of sweet he meant. His vision spins as stars dance before his eyes. He collapses while she hurriedly calls out to him. Later, he wakes halfway and overhears two women talking. One asks where he came from, while the girl in red explains she saw a light fall from the sky and found him unconscious and naked, and wonders how he's still alive after losing so much energy. Inside, our boy panics, convinced these two are about to kill him. He tries to sneak away, but his body trembles. She drained him completely of strength. Unable to stand, he slips and crashes to the ground. A glowing panel appears, warning his survival chance low and his HP is only 1 in 50. Shocked, he realizes it looks like a game screen. His HP is at 1, and that woman used him for cultivation. As he struggles to move, his head spins and his lower body aches, making him wonder how many times she did with him. Suddenly, a girl steps into his view. Her name is Bai Lu, and she stares at him with icy eyes. Our boy wonders if this beauty is here to save him. Instead, she launches a brutal kick, sending him flying as the others stare in disbelief. He crashes straight into the water. Fighting to stay afloat, he barely manages to swim. Just as he reaches the shore, several swords thrust toward him at once. He finds himself surrounded by armed women, thinking in horror if they're angels or demons. At that moment, an even more stunning woman arrives, sternly demanding why everyone is gathered and who invaded their territory. One girl reports they spotted a suspicious intruder and came to deal with him before he caused trouble. The first sea captain orders them back to the ship immediately. Her name is Cheongjiang. Someone asks what should be done with the man. Cheongjiang coldly replies that men are useless and she'll dispose of this trash herself. Our boy freezes, shocked by her words. The others leave, shooting him hostile glares. As soon as they're gone, Cheongjiang presses her blade to his throat, demanding his identity and purpose or she'll kill him on the spot. Terrified, he said if she'd believe him if he said he fell from the sky by accident. Hearing that, she grows furious and raises her sword. In desperation, he blurts out that he's a transmigrator and calls out the girl who saw the light as proof. He even asks if she wants him to explain what happened by the lake, stunning her. Enraged, Cheongjiang attacks, shouting how dare he speak nonsense. Just before her strike lands, the girl in red unleashes a sudden water attack. Cheongjiang's sword is knocked from her hand. It lands between our boy's legs, narrowly missing something important. The red-dressed woman states he has a rare spiritual body, and even after losing his energy he's still alive, making him useful, so she orders her to take him along on their mission. Our boy is left confused, wondering if this woman holds a higher rank. She smiles calmly at him, saying if he survives this, he can think about her all day, and maybe there will be more encounters like that, and introduce herself as Yao Ji. After that, our boy is taken to a large ship's resting chamber, while massive monsters circle the vessel outside. Sitting alone, he reflects that he's been in this world for a while and has learned one clear rule: women dominate everything here. He opens the system map and discovers this is a savage island, mostly occupied by monsters, with humans controlling only a tiny area. In this world, women are the ones who battle monsters alone, known as cultivators. He realizes men are treated as inferior beings, used only for labor and reproduction, then discarded like tools. Tears falling, he says it's no wonder women look down on him and questions why the system sent him to a world where men live like slaves. Suddenly, the system alerts him that he's spent over 72 hours here and has unlocked a beginner reward pack, instantly lifting his mood. Smiling, he taps confirm, curious about what the gift contains. The box opens, revealing a massive arsenal of weapons and firearms floating before him. Our boy selects his favorite guns and pulls them straight from the system screen. A notice appears, stating ammunition must be purchased separately. Without hesitation, he buys bullets and loads the weapon. Holding the gun, he declares that with this system, he'll rise to the top and make everyone acknowledge him. After several days of travel, the ship finally arrives at the entrance of a magnificent city. As Yao Ji steps off the ship, a squad of disciples kneels instantly, welcoming her as their sect leader. Watching from a distance, our boy, now known as Lin Fan, takes everything in. Entering the city, Lin Fan stares at towering structures, thinking only powerful figures could live here. As he walks further in, several girls notice him and begin whispering. From a balcony, one girl laughs, saying he looks carefree, while another jokes that no one would guess he's here for guard duty or official work. The scene shifts as a grand palanquin passes by, carrying a respected elder. She is known as Elder Red, seated beside her white tiger. From behind the palanquin, Lin Fan notices a group of male slaves tied together, while a woman whips one for moving too slowly. Another slave steps forward, begging her to stop, saying the man will die if beaten again. Instead, she grows angrier, shouting if they all want to die. From inside the palanquin, Elder Red orders them to silence the noise and commands her tiger to handle it. The tiger lunges toward the slave who spoke up. Before it strikes, another slave jumps in to shield him. Lin Fan is stunned as he watches slaves risking their lives to protect one another. The injured slave collapses, bleeding heavily. His fellow slave cries desperately, calling him to wake up. Elder Red coldly states that men here are slaves, unworthy of speaking, let alone resisting women. With her permission, the tiger begins devouring the man. The other slaves can only watch helplessly, powerless in this female-dominated world. Seeing this, Lin Fan clenches his fists, realizing how brutal this world is, and knowing he cannot accept it. Moments later, our boy finally reaches the place they sent him to. Looking around uneasily, he wonders if this is the furnace department, where women use men's bodies for cultivation. Lost in thought, he asks the girl beside him which district this is. Calmly, she explains this is where all men are kept, saying he's lucky, here, women cultivate, and men can also survive and even live over 100 years. Lin Fan grins slyly and jokes if this is where women come to enjoy men. She smiles but replies seriously, if he truly wants power, he must remove his private part and stop being classified as a man. Hearing this, he stiffens, forces an awkward smile, and quickly asks about becoming a furnace candidate instead. Surprised, she explains that many people are sent here every year for trials, coming from all over the continent, and those outside are war captives. She tells Lin Fan honestly that he's extremely lucky, as most people aren't even qualified to join the sect. Warning him not to wander, she says she'll report his arrival to the leader. As she leaves, he thinks nervously that without the system, he might really be forced to cut down his manhood for power. Shaking his head, he decides he'd rather die than pay such a price for power. While lost in thought, loud footsteps suddenly echo nearby. Startled, he looks over and recognizes the same group from earlier. Lin Fan wonders why they're here and what they're planning. The leader is revealed as Elder Red's daughter, Miss Red. She tells her group she brought 8 slaves to exchange for contribution credits, while another girl envies her gains. As Miss Red steps forward, her eyes land on our boy and stop. She walks straight up, smiling teasingly, asking why such a handsome boy is standing there, while another girl eagerly asks to have him. Hearing them, Lin Fan frowns inwardly, deciding he won't let just anyone treat him like a toy. When a girl reaches for his hand, he pulls away and firmly tells her to stay back. The girls' expressions darken, their irritation rising as their pride is shaken. Suddenly, one slave collapses, and another cries out in panic, drawing Miss Red's attention. Furious, she lashes the fallen slave with her whip, silencing him as blood spills from his mouth. Seeing this, Lin Fan's blood boils, but he forces himself to stay quiet. She steps closer, grabs his face, and laughs softly, praising his skin and saying she's taken a liking to him. Lin Fan jerks away and coldly warns her to keep her filthy hands off him, saying no amount of sweet words or wealth would make him interested in her. Her face twists with rage as she screams that an ant like him dared reject her, threatening to crush him and cripple him if he resists. That's when he snaps, lunging forward, he slaps her hard across the face. The slaves freeze in shock as she screams, unable to believe he dared strike her. Lin Fan answers calmly that anyone who insults others deserves a slap. Enraged, she swings her whip, attacking our boy. He narrowly dodges and instantly opens his system panel. A message flashes, Chi attack detected, survival confirmed, intelligence increased by 0.01. Reading this, Lin Fan grows excited, realizing every physical clash or beating he takes automatically converts into system points, while the girls grow even angrier. He understands this world works like a game, and energy can be absorbed. His excitement surges. The air suddenly twists as her attack takes shape, forming a giant red phoenix rushing toward Lin Fan. The slaves cry out in alarm, warning him of the incoming strike. Lin Fan turns just in time to see the blazing phoenix dive, already too late to escape. A thunderous explosion erupts, leaving everyone there completely stunned. After the blast, Lin Fan is left scorched, his clothes torn, feeling embarrassed, but he finally understands how Chi works. Checking the system, he realizes he can absorb only a limited amount of Chi, and excess energy damages his body. At that moment, she walks closer to him. She admits no ordinary person could survive her true Yuan flames. Yet she mocks him again, while Lin Fan stares back coldly, irritation burning in his eyes. She grabs his hair and swings her sword with her other hand, roaring that he dared slap her and must die. The slaves grit their teeth, watching helplessly, unable to interfere. Suddenly, Lin Fan pulls a handgun from the system and aims it at her face. He says she only hit him because he allowed it, then pulls the trigger, ending her life. The gunshot echoes through the hall, sending birds fleeing into the sky. The scene rewinds 2 minutes earlier, inside the hall, where the sect leader reviews documents as Jiang reports elders invading other lands and suffering heavy losses. She also mentions Lin Fan, suggesting he should be eliminated before exposing her injuries. Before she can continue, Yao Ji stops her, snapping a scroll in her hand. Jiang freezes in shock. The sect leader gathers her energy, preparing to break through to a higher realm. Thunder crashes outside the hall. Everyone watches in awe, praising the terrifying strength of her tribulation. Inside her palanquin, Elder Red looks on, calling her a monster for breaking through again. Suddenly, Elder Red's jade pendant shatters. Realizing it was linked to her daughter, she knows instantly, her daughter is dead. Back inside, Jiang congratulates her master on reaching the 9-core realm. The sect leader explains this is why she spared Lin Fan, his potential surpasses even his own awareness. At that moment, they hear a gunshot echo. Jiang hurriedly checks her formation, confused by the strange sound. The sect leader asks what happened, and she replies a core disciple was killed in the inner sect. When asked which department, she answers, Looting Hall, where Lin Fan was sent. The scene returns to Lin Fan, standing with a gun as Elder Red's daughter lies lifeless before him. Her subordinates stare in disbelief, unable to process what just happened. Lin Fan feels nothing after killing for the first time, wondering if the system numbed his emotions, or if this world changed him. Suddenly, the system begins scanning the corpse, startling him. A new quest appears, collect world specimens. 1 of 100 completed, rewarding experience. His health fully recovers, he gains a smooth talk skill, levels up, and receives 100 intelligence points. He realizes the system heals him through kills and pushes him to hunt cultivators, unlocking level 2 and new gear in the shop. As Lin Fan studies the screen, someone steps into view. It's Bai Lu, the woman who kicked him earlier, whip in hand. Seeing her, Lin Fan thinks they meet again, noting her figure hasn't changed. The subordinates accuse him, telling Bai Lu he killed their senior sister, Red Hong. To their shock, Bai Lu whips them instead, scolding them for questioning her authority, even mentioning Elder Red's revenge. Bai Lu coldly says if Red Hong the inner core disciple couldn't defeat an ordinary man, she deserved that fate. Turning to Lin Fan, she accuses him of causing trouble and using a forbidden weapon, questioning if he think looting hall will allow it. Lin Fan replies calmly that no rule forbids hidden weapons and says he just defending himself and who knows she was simply too weak. She smirks, warning him that if he survives Elder Red's pursuit, he may enter the furnace trials, wishing him luck. Suddenly, a thunderous crash shakes the gate as a massive tiger bursts inside. Everyone recognizes it as Elder Red's beast. Looking up, they sense a powerful presence in the sky. Elder Red appears on a flying sword, staring at Lin Fan with blood-red eyes. She lands before her daughter's corpse. Seeing the lifeless body, her rage explodes. She roars, demanding the killer reveal himself. Her pressure blast slaves away while cultivators barely withstand it. Bai Lu stand under the force, while others can't even see clearly. The system notes 0.01 aura absorption as Lin Fan wonders why such power doesn't hurt him. As the dust clears, Elder Red locks eyes with Lin Fan. She asks others if he's the one who killed her daughter. Lin Fan answers without hesitation, yes, he is the one. Instantly, she releases her aura and slashes at him in fury. The sword strikes his chest, sending him flying. He smashes into the wall with a massive blast. She assumes he's finished. To everyone's shock, Lin Fan grabs the sword and pulls it from his chest like it's nothing. Elder Red freezes in disbelief. So do Bai Lu and the others. Lin Fan stands again, revealed to be wearing the system's military vest. Relieved, he checks his stats, HP drops to 25, vest durability at 35. As she prepares another strike, a disciple warns her he has some hidden weapon. She attacks again with full strength, her energy forming a blazing phoenix charging at him. A massive explosion erupts, forcing Elder Red to leap back. Bai Lu squints, confused as smoke fills the area. The smoke comes from a smoke bomb Lin Fan used, blocking vision while boosting his stats. Emerging from the haze, Lin Fan realizes this is his opening. He unloads multiple shots at Elder Red. Without even looking, she deflects every bullet with her sword. Lin Fan understands, her reaction speed lets her see every bullet's path. She sneers at him, mocking that this is all he's capable of. Annoyed, Lin Fan pulls out another device, this one a flash bomb. He yanks the pin and hurls it straight at her. A blinding burst of white light floods the area. She staggers, unable to see anything ahead. When the light fades, Lin Fan is already there, gun pressed to her head. Without a second thought, he pulls the trigger at point-blank range. From afar, Bai Lu freezes, wondering if she was just killed too. But then, to everyone's shock, her body turns golden, blocking the bullet as she questions its terrifying force. Enraged, flames erupt around her as her hair ignites and she screams for his death. The pressure of her fire alone sends Lin Fan flying back. His gun slips from his hand as he's tossed away like a ball. He struggles to breathe, barely able to move. Looking up, he sees her launch a massive fireball, blazing like a miniature sun. Staring at it, he thinks this is the end, regretting pushing her this far. Suddenly, a voice shouts for them to stop as a formation blocks the attack. It's Cheong Jiang, arriving just in time, while Elder Red grows even angrier. Lin Fan realizes he's still alive, saved at the last moment. Cheong Jiang declares the sect leader's order, no one is allowed to harm him. Furious, Elder Red demands to know where the sect leader is. Cheong Jiang warns that disobeying the sect leader will bring regret, and while she's here, no one can ignore that order. Elder Red sneers at her courage, saying she can't beat her alone, and charges forward with raging flames. Cheong Jiang launches as well, and the two collide midair with pure true energy. Their terrifying speed paints the sky with explosive flashes like fireworks. Lin Fan stares in shock, thinking this must be how immortals truly fight. Suddenly, during the clash, Elder Red calls out to her tiger. The beast lets out a thunderous roar straight at Lin Fan, freezing him in fear. Cheong Jiang grits her teeth, unable to help him while locked in battle. The tiger swipes with its claws, but Lin Fan barely dodges. Seeing him in danger, Cheong Jiang tries to rush over, but Elder Red notices. Elder Red blocks her path, declaring that no one will save him today. At that moment, Lin Fan hurls a bomb toward the tiger. A massive explosion engulfs the beast completely. But to Lin Fan's disbelief, the tiger emerges, glaring at him with glowing blue eyes. It leaps forward and strikes, and Lin Fan fails to react in time. He's sent flying, barely able to remain standing. Blood spills from his mouth onto the ground. He pulls out another bomb, saying it's his final one. Staring at the beast, he mocks it, calling it a cat and taunting it to come closer. His insults enrage the tiger completely. The tiger opens its jaws and lunges, ready to tear him apart. Lin Fan tries to slide beneath it at the last second. But the tiger catches him and bites off one of his arms. Then it violently throws him aside. The slaves gasp in horror, seeing him unable to defend himself. Lin Fan struggles to stay upright, breathing heavily while clutching his torn arm. Suddenly, he smiles, saying everything is going according to plan. Sensing danger, Elder Red urgently calls for her tiger. But it's too late, the tiger swallowed the arm holding the bomb. A deafening blast erupts as the tiger explodes from within. The system immediately scans the tiger's remains. Lin Fan is shocked that the tiger counts as a specimen due to its spiritual power. The system fully heals him, rewards 100 points, boosts his level, and unlocks Tiger Spirit level 1. Enraged, Elder Red charges at Lin Fan with her sword, having lost both daughter and beast. Lin Fan realizes he can't dodge this strike. Before the sword lands, golden light shoots out from the sect leader's chamber. A powerful formation, Golden Bell, forms around Lin Fan. The collision triggers a violent explosion. The shockwave sends Bai Lu and other disciples flying backward. As the dust settles, Lin Fan stands unharmed, and Qiong Jiang warns that only the leader can use this technique. Elder Red glares at Lin Fan in fury, while he remains confused about who saved him. Elder Red retreats, leaving Lin Fan stunned by her sudden withdrawal. Qiong Jiang tells him he has caused enormous trouble this time. She orders 2 female disciples to escort him to the leader immediately, shocking both Lin Fan and Bai Lu. Qiong Jiang flies away as the 2 disciples motion for him to follow. Lin Fan asks them to wait for a moment. He turns toward the slaves previously injured by Elder Red's daughter. The slaves tense up as Lin Fan reaches into his pocket. But to them it looked like he was doing something else. He quietly takes out a bandage, careful not to reveal the system. He removes the bandage from its packaging. Lin Fan skillfully wraps the injured slave like a skilled nurse. After a few moments, he claps his hands, saying it's done. The slaves stare in shock at the neatly wrapped body. In the next instant, the wounds heal completely. The other slaves gasp, unable to believe the rapid recovery. They rush to ask if he feels any pain, while Lin Fan walks away with a gentle smile. A few minutes later, the scene shifts to a grand mansion where our boy is currently staying. Outside the room, 2 maids hear strange noises coming from inside and exchange confused looks. Inside, Lin Fan is seen sweating heavily as steam fills the room. He is casually soaking in a hot bathtub, enjoying himself and singing in his own world's language, leaving the maids outside completely puzzled. Standing up, he notices his body has grown stronger after absorbing a portion of the cultivator's power from the dead. Suddenly, the 2 maids rush in, shocking our boy who is standing completely naked. The maids bring him fresh clothes and a towel. Seeing them, our boy panics and jumps straight back into the tub, confusing the maids. Afterward, the maids help him get dressed while he blushes in embarrassment. As one maid leans in close, his thoughts begin to run wild. He quickly stops himself, thinking that if her husband found out, he would surely be dead. He hurriedly steps back, saying she doesn't need to come so close since he can dress himself, but the maid replies that there's no need to be shy, they already saw everything earlier. A few minutes later, Lin Fan looks strikingly handsome in his clothes as the maids praise his appearance. Looking at them, Lin Fan asks if he can meet the sect leader now. One maid smiles and says not yet, the leader hates men and never meets them, but since she seems interested in him, he may be summoned later. The other maid quickly stops her, warning her not to flirt or they'll lose their jobs if the leader finds out. As they turn to leave, Lin Fan accidentally catches a glimpse beneath one maid's transparent clothes. After that, he looks at his system screen in surprise. Smiling, he sees that his charm stat is maxed out, thinking it must be a gift from his original world, and notices he now has 10,702 points. He then checks his other abilities and sees that several skills have leveled up. The system notifies him that due to a one-shot kill, he has received a white tiger as a reward and asks if he wants to summon it now. The moment he agrees, a tiny baby tiger appears in his hand, meowing loudly, though Lin Fan can't understand what it's saying. After checking its information, he learns the tiny tiger can be used as a drone. It can fly, observe, gather intelligence, and provide location data. Seeing this, Lin Fan smiles, praises its abilities, names it Little Taro, and starts playing with his new pet. Suddenly, a gust of wind carrying a sweet fragrance drifts in from another room. Both Lin Fan and his pet are instantly captivated by the scent and decide to find its source. They follow the fragrance into another room. Inside, they find a large hot spring bath filled with steaming water, releasing the same alluring scent. After looking carefully, Lin Fan's face turns red at the sight before him. Standing there is Yao Ji, the first woman he met in this world, someone he could never forget. She wears a red, translucent robe as she steps out of the water and looks toward Lin Fan with a calm expression. She then sits on the bed while Lin Fan glances at his pet, which is completely mesmerized by her beauty. Unable to hold back, the little beast suddenly flies toward her as Lin Fan desperately tries to stop it. The tiny tiger rushes forward at full speed. It flies far too close to her chest, openly admiring her curves like a shameless pervert, leaving her shocked at the sight of a small spirit beast. Lin Fan grabs his head in panic, horrified by what his pet is doing, while his nose starts bleeding from the scene. Seizing the moment, the beast rubs its face against her chest, meowing happily. Yao Ji lifts the pet and holds it in front of her face to inspect it, and as it moves away from her chest, it starts crying loudly. Not understanding its cries, she casually tosses the beast aside with an expressionless face. Lin Fan is stunned and confused, thinking his very first pet in this world died within minutes. However, the system informs him that the pet was merely destroyed and can be resummoned after a few hours. Suddenly, an invisible force pulls Lin Fan toward Yao Ji. He stops right in front of her as she sits on the bed with her eyes closed, cultivating. Scratching his head nervously, he calls her darling and asks if she's really doing physical cultivation here. Raising her hand, she says that it hasn't even been a day since he arrived, yet he already caused chaos and killed Elder Red's daughter and her beast. Panicking, he explains that he was only defending himself and didn't expect her to die so easily. Changing her posture and crossing her legs, she says he must give her one reason not to cut off his head, otherwise Elder Red will surely seek revenge. Terrified, Lin Fan thinks that if she wanted him dead, he'd already be gone, especially since she sent Xiong Jiang to protect him, so he needs a way to get closer to her. Hiding his panic behind a smile, he pretends to check his pocket, knowing he can't reveal the system and must act like he's pulling something out normally. She watches him with a cute yet confused expression, wondering what he's doing. Suddenly, Lin Fan reveals his gun, saying this is what saved his life and that he's the only one who possesses such a weapon. Yao Ji takes the gun and examines it, saying it's merely an iron weapon with no spiritual energy, something she's never seen before. Lin Fan explains that although it looks ordinary, it was powerful enough to kill Elder Red's daughter with a single shot, and if her sect had it, they would rise above all others. Looking at him, she asks if she can use the weapon herself. He replies that anyone can use it with minimal training, even a child. Inside, he thinks that if he refuses her, she'll definitely kill him. To his shock, she suddenly points the gun at his face, making him nervously ask what she's doing and beg her not to aim at him. She lowers the gun toward his waist instead, demanding to know where he got it, while he sweats and says he brought it with him. She pushes the gun forward, knocking his pants loose. The barrel presses beneath his clothes, aimed at the worst possible place, while Lin Fan freezes in pure terror, afraid one move could end his manhood forever. After a tense moment, she finally pulls the gun away. She steps behind him, and Lin Fan sighs in relief, thinking he's safe. Suddenly, she presses her chest against his back. Using him as a stand, she rests the gun forward while our boy clearly feels the soft pressure of her body behind him. She whispers that he's mysterious, without spiritual energy, without cultivation, and completely defenseless without this weapon, so why should she trust him? Turning the gun toward his eyes, she asks if he even understands what trust means, leaving Lin Fan shocked, realizing he may have misunderstood her that she likes him. She suddenly pulls the trigger, firing a bullet straight at Lin Fan. He closes his eyes, thinking this is how he dies. To his shock, she stops the bullet between two fingers just an inch from his face. Lin Fan's eyes and mouth go wide as she smiles cutely, saying she was merely testing the weapon's power. Stepping back, she explains that it can harm beginner cultivators but won't work on higher level ones like them, though she's impressed by a weapon that requires no energy and can be used by anyone. Lin Fan finally realizes she was testing him all along, relieved that he didn't actually die today. Lin Fan asks her nervously if he passed her test. She warns that if he stays this careless, Elder Red could kill him at any time, since Elder Red holds great authority in the sect, and reminds him that he's the only man she has ever mate with, so he must be careful, leaving Lin Fan surprised that she's actually worried about him. Pointing to himself, he confidently tells her not to worry, saying he never picks fights, but if someone provokes him, he won't let it slide either. She mocks him, saying he sounds less like a man and more like a spoiled princess who thinks he controls everything and refuses to improve their ability. Lin Fan feels shocked and slightly depressed, realizing she doesn't trust his strength. Turning serious, she warns him not to grow arrogant and says she will teach him a sect technique, the same one Elder Red used to defend against his weapon, which turns the body golden, hardens it beyond harm, and grants power that can shake both heaven and earth, then asks if he's ready. Raising his hand excitedly, Lin Fan asks if mastering it will really make him that powerful, and eagerly urges her to teach him. She agrees and tells him she will teach him the Thunder Heart Seal. As she speaks, her eyes glow with intense thunder blue energy. She walks toward Lin Fan and forms a field of spiritual thunder energy around him while she remains outside it. As the thunder energy enters his mind, she tells him he must sacrifice part of his mental strength to learn the technique, as this is the only way. Suddenly, the system screen appears, detecting the Thunder Heart Seal and asking if the host wants to store it directly, making Lin Fan realize he can learn it without suffering backlash. He starts the process, and the system shows that the technique doubles defense and greatly boosts attack power for 10 seconds, shocking Lin Fan. However, Yao Ji has another plan and decides to take this chance to read his memories. She uses her soul search technique to find out who he really is, where he came from, and why he's here. Instantly, multiple red alerts flash on the system screen, warning of an incoming mental attack, leaving Lin Fan confused. The system explains that the opponent is attempting to extract his memories and that automatic defenses are activating to protect the host. Once the system finishes loading, her technique suddenly reverses, and the system begins extracting her memories using her own stored spiritual energy. At that moment, she realizes Lin Fan somehow reversed her soul search technique, and her memories along with her golden spiritual energy are being forcefully drained as she struggles to break free. Seconds later, the system displays the extracted data as a Yao Ji file measuring 6.7 gigabytes, shocking Lin Fan by its size. After that, the system starts transferring Yao Ji's spiritual energy directly into Lin Fan. He begins to feel extremely powerful as the system absorbs her energy even faster and injects it into his body. Seeing that more than half of her spiritual energy has been drained, she becomes furious and attacks the thunder field with full force. The energy field shatters in a violent explosion. Lin Fan slowly opens his eyes. He sees Yao Ji sitting on top of him, gripping his collar with rage-filled eyes. Clenching her fists, she demands to know what he did to her and accuses him of trying to kill her by draining all her spiritual energy. She delivers a heavy punch, smashing Lin Fan's head straight into the floor. Unable to control her anger, she continues beating him relentlessly. She then hurls him into a wall with such force that his body crashes deep into it. Suddenly, she coughs up blood while clutching her chest. Earlier, Cheong Jiang had already mentioned that she was injured and had not fully recovered. Now, with nearly 80% of her spiritual energy drained, she becomes extremely weak. Lin Fan struggles to his feet, holding his head, but remains unharmed thanks to the technique he just learned. He looks around and realizes Yao Ji is nowhere to be seen. He picks up his waist belt, thinking she has already left. As he puts it on, he suddenly feels a terrifying presence behind him. Turning around, he sees Yao Ji fully dressed again, staring at him coldly while condensing spiritual energy in her hand. She punches him with overwhelming force. Lin Fan is sent flying, smashing through the building and shooting into the sky as he shouts that he didn't take her energy, the system forced it into him. He then falls from the sky like a rock. While falling, he cries out, begging her to save him, saying, "Darling, I will die if I hit the ground." Suddenly, she grabs his leg using her flowing robe. Standing on her flying sword, she carries him away from the sect while he keeps apologizing non-stop. Hours later, the two are still flying far away from her sect. Midair, she suddenly starts coughing blood again, and Lin Fan anxiously asks if she's alright. To his shock, she suddenly faints, her flying sword disappears, and they both begin falling. As they fall, Lin Fan sighs helplessly, wondering why this always happens to him. He survives the fall by activating his golden body. Holding his head, he wonders why she brought him along despite being so badly injured. Standing up, he notices what looks like a massive stone snake nearby and steps closer to examine it. He looks away, not noticing that the stone snake's eyes slowly open. He then sees Yao Ji badly injured and struggling to move. She suddenly loses her balance and falls forward. Lin Fan rushes in and catches her just in time, helping her regain balance. She immediately pushes him away, warning him not to come any closer or she'll kill him, while internally wondering how someone like him could reverse her technique and weaken her so badly. Lin Fan tries to explain that he never intended to hurt her, but suddenly, the massive stone snake begins to move, shocking them both. The stone snake begins transforming into a real monster as both of them stare in shock, mouths wide open. Lin Fan screams, realizing the massive stone has turned into a terrifying beast, while she looks on in disbelief at encountering such monster at the worst possible moment. The giant snake coils around them, crushing nearby trees with its enormous body. Lin Fan steps forward and shields her with his own body as the snake fixes them with its glowing blue eyes. And that's where we pause for today, but the real chaos is just getting started. If you want the next chapter, hit subscribe, drop a comment or any emoji so I know you're with me. Until the next recap, check out what's on your screen right now. These are some of the most insane manhwa recaps you've probably never seen before. Watch them, and I'll see you in the next recap.